Well, hey YouTube, Whiskey 3 Charlie Tango W3CT, your good old friend Jack, back out here in the garage for another project. So what's that project going to be? Well, let's just say one word and we'll see if you understand what it means. Maybe you don't, but I'll explain it. Let's talk about Breezeshooters right after this. Okay guys, so what is Breezeshooters and what are we building today? So Breezeshooters is a more or less a local event here between Pennsylvania and all connecting states that connect to Pennsylvania. The idea is to work 10 meters for 3 hours. So we're going to have 8, 9, and 10 o'clock on March 22nd on CW. And then there's another date for SSB, and then there's another date that they're going to have the RIDI or digital modes. I am interested in, obviously, the CW portion of that contest. The contest is individualized and club-oriented. So what does that mean? I'll use my own individual call sign on the contest, and the club gets a combined points for everybody that works the contest on all 3 modes. So what are we building today? Well, I thought I would build, since it's only a 10-meter contest, and 10 meters at night, that's kind of weird anyway, right? Now this morning on 10 meters, I can honestly say, and happily I can say, that I worked Bosnia this morning on 10 meters with the vertical antenna I put up that you guys have seen a couple videos on now. I did some tests with the vertical antenna to show you its performance. If you haven't watched that video, I'm going to link both of the videos onto this video so you can see those. So why build just a 10-meter antenna? Well, first of all, it should be resonant on 10 meters is what I hope to achieve. But more so than that, I was watching a gentleman's videos. If I can find his video through all the stuff I watch, I'll put his call sign up here. And he was talking about elevating the radials. If you elevate the radials, he stated that he got a 5 dB gain off the antenna that he put up by elevating the radials. So I thought, well, if I can put the 10-meter antenna on top of my DX Commander mast, if I can figure out how to mount it on there, that's going to be the big trick to get it mounted. I don't think the biggest trick is to get it built. So what I'm planning on building the radiating element with, okay, the top part, is so it's going to be a vertical antenna, and then the side, the radials come down, and he actually used a wire. Yeah, you've seen them before, to fish wires through a house. They're fiberglass rods, and he made a loop. And I started looking at that, and I remembered my old CB days. Remember the Astroplane, I think it was called, I think it was called the Astroplane, where it was a radiating element with a loop around it, and then it had radials coming down connected to that loop. That's what I'm going to try to build. But I didn't want to go out and spend the money for the fiberglass rods. I thought maybe I could come up with another way to elevate the radials, have them spaced out enough so they work well, and have a better radiating element. I didn't want to use 16-gauge speaker wire. I thought, can I do something different with that? Well, came in the garage and happened to find some 14-gauge house wiring. I think this is 14-gauge. I'm almost positive. Yeah, I think it. Oh, actually. Yeah. Actually, it is 14-gauge wire. Yeah. So this is 14-gauge house wiring. My idea here is I need 8.8, so 8 feet and so many inches of radiating element. The radials themselves, I don't think I'll build the radials out of this. I think I'll build the radials out of the thinner wire that I was using. Let me see if I can get this off of the motorcycle back here. I think since this is lighter, I think I'll use this actually for the radials, is what I'm planning on doing, because they don't have to be too long. So I figure if the driven element has to be 8, the radial should be about half that, so about 4.5 foot is what I'll make the radials. So I'm planning on also making the loop out of this. So if I take this wire and I make it a big enough loop, I should be able to form that. It's pretty stiff. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And make a big enough loop around the bottom of that antenna so I can put my ground radials to it. Well, I don't know. All right, but I'm going to get started here. What I'm going to do first of all is strip this down. And I'm going to combine 2 of these copper wires together for the driven element. And I just want to make them sturdier, but I think I'll still put them on the DS Commander mast. So I think that's a good idea. Who knows until you get it built. So I've never, outside the gentleman building antenna, he built it with actual, I think he did use speaker wire. And like I said, there's fiberglass rods. So this is going to be a little bit different build than his. I'm going to strip off 8 foot of this wire. And no, I'm not going to show you me measuring it. I know a lot of people beat me up in the videos. Jack, well, you took forever to measure the wire. I tried to show you the, the good parts and the bad parts about building antennas. But I'm going to start stripping this down and see if I can't get my radiating element out of this. Once I do that, I'll bring you back in the video and show you the end result of the radiator. Radiating element. We'll do that. And then next I have to figure out how big do I want my loop, because I want at least 3 radials coming off of the ground lug. Now, what am I using to put this up there? I will show you that. It's in my pocket here. I think I put it in my pocket. Where did it go? Well, it was in my pocket. Oh, there it is. I see it. So I'll just be using the banana clip. This is my plan. Nothing too fancy, just a banana clip. That's what I'll be using to put this antenna up. And I know that this 14 gauge wire is not going to fit in the hole. It's not going to fit in there. So, and it's not going to twist around there. So my thought process there is I'll solder some wire onto the bottom so I can put it into this banana clip. Okay? That's an idea I have. All right, well, let me get started with the radiating element. And then I'll work on the ground radials. And I figure this is going to be a couple-day build, because I'm also planning on going to, and I can't date this video, but I plan on going to the park today to do an activation. I had a lot of great responses, a couple negatives, a lot of great responses over from my video about the RFI coming back into the car. So I got a lot of responses. I want to go out today and do some experiments. And I probably are not going to film that. But what I might do is record the next time I go out, and if everything works, I'll show you what I did and what actually works and what I messed up on. Because, guys, it's experimentation, right? I told you, I tell everybody on these videos, I am not the expert. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm showing you my ham radio journey. It might be like your journey. Maybe you can make the same mistakes I did. Maybe I can save you from making some mistakes. Who knows? But we're in this together, right? So the negativity, man, that's got to go away. But you always get negative. You always get keyboard warriors, and that's the way life is. So let me go ahead and get started building this thing and bring you back on a happier note and see what this antenna is going to look like. I'll see you then. Okay, guys, so the build so far is going okay. There was one little hiccup in my plan. If you don't know, house wiring comes with the ground wire with just a, see if I can show it here, with just a piece of basically paper around it. So it was really easy to get that off the ground wire here, okay? Or the radiating element that I'll be using. I wanted to strip one of the other wires down, but as being very transparent with you is that would have taken a long time. So what I decided to do instead was I decided to take the other 2 wires, if I can get this one somewhere out of the way here. I decided to take the other 2 wires and make my loop. All right, let's try to show it with the other camera here, see if we can see the whole thing. Let's see, we'll get this up a little bit higher, put this down. So this loop, if you could just visualize this, the ground radial is going to be going up the mast in the center, okay, right up the center of the mast. This part here is going to be where my radials are actually going to come down and attach to this. Okay, this will keep them separated out, and it should give it more of like almost like an ice cream cone look, is what I'm thinking. this is the way the gentleman did. Like I said, he used the wire fishing rods, I guess you could call them. The fiberglass rods you screw together is what he bought. But I figured I could make it with this, and this should be big enough. I mean, it's only going to be for 10 meters. It's very temporary. I did find, if you've seen through the video, that the wire will fit through here nicely. It'll go right inside of there. And we should be good to go. Well, maybe not. I guess that does not go all the way through. So we have to see if the wire will go through this hole right here. Hopefully that's the case. Nope, it does not. This does not fit in this hole. So I could either A, wrap it around there, or B, solder a lead onto here and put it into here is what I'm thinking maybe I'll do. I mean, if I wrap it around there, it's not going to stay tight enough. So that's what I'm going to end up doing, is soldering a lead onto here to put it in here. These ones should be okay on this side because these are the ground radials. Like I said, I want 3. I'd like to have 4. I'll see what I can do. And they're only going to be, I would say, 4 feet 5 inches is what I'm thinking should be good ground radials for this 10-meter antenna. Again, these are going to be elevated ground radials, so take that with a grain of salt. I don't know how it's going to work. The gentleman said that since he elevated his radials, he's getting a 5 dB gain, is what he showed on his video. So I figured for breeze shooters that would be pretty good. So the next step will be to do is to get the radials cut and pull the vertical antenna off the mast out there and put this antenna out there. Once I solder that, again, I got to solder the piece on for this to get into here. Then I'm just going to take it before, like I did, I'm going to put a zip tie through here, and I'll zip tie this to the pole, run my coax in there, run my coax down the pole, taping it to the pole, because then it keeps that pole from bending over. A lot of guys out there, you see them with these masts, and I do it all the time. You hook it on the mast and it drags it over and it's bending. I don't want that. I want it to be straight up and down as a vertical antenna. So that would be my next steps. All right, I will see you in that part of the video. Again, I'm not going to show you cutting the radials. That's kind of boring. But I will show you, hopefully I get a little bit of camera footage with me trying to mount this thing on the pole out there after I solder this piece of wire on here to get it into the connector here. I can't think of any other way to do it. I could see maybe if I bought the right banana clips, I might be able to put a banana clip in there. Let me go check those out and see if they're the right size or not, because now I can just plug it in. That's another thought, right? I could just take it and plug it right in to here if it would work. I don't know what kind of banana clips, what size I bought, but I might be able to get a banana clip on this wire instead and plug it in. That's a good thought too. All right, let's see how that works out. Okay guys, so actually the banana clip I bought, you see this? I'll bring it to the other camera here. We can have a closer look at this. The banana clip, the wire fits fine inside the banana clip. Try to pull this back off of here again. Oh, come on. There you go. So it goes right in there very nicely. And what even works out better is the banana plug, the banana clip works. Watch. That's a nice, clean install right there. So I also brought one down for my ground radials. Oops. Yep. Ground radials. So there you have it. So that's going to be a very nice install. I think it's going to look a lot better, and it's a lot more secure connection. I didn't show you, but I think I am going to put some black tape over here just so it doesn't pull out. And it probably won't. That screw is in there pretty tight. But I'm a tape guy, so I'm going to put a little bit of tape over there anyway just to make sure. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I think it's going to work out really, really well. There's my black one for the black side. So if you buy any of these banana clips to use, I would highly recommend buying yourself some banana plugs. Both of these parts will be in the description below. I'll put a link down there if you guys want to purchase these. These came from Amazon. And then it'll make it easier to find. This right here, these holes here, those holes are going to be used for the zip tie. And then I'll tape the coax going down the pole. And that way everything should be pretty snug. All right, looks good so far, and I'm pretty impressed with it. I think now I'm going to go ahead and cut my radials out and put the radial wire together. That's my next step. Okay guys, well, I worked it out. The banana clips are on, as you can see here through this camera. I showed you that one earlier. I did get the tape on there. I repurposed the antenna, the vertical antenna I had up before. Remember, I think it was a 21.5-foot vertical. And I didn't like its performance anyway. It was only up for about a week, but I repurposed the ground radials. I have 4 radials. That's what I'll be using here, 4 different radials. I was able to get it in the banana plug, which works absolutely amazing. I love these things. There you go. There's the banana plug. Great deal. All right, guys. So the next step will be to get this thing up in the air and get it up on the mast. I have to first take down the other antenna, the 29-foot vertical I have up that's been working awesome. Again, I think I told you at the beginning of this video, I worked in Bosnia this morning on it on 10 meters. So it's working pretty awesomely. I mean, did he hear me great? I had a 559. But I made the contact, so that was golden. So, all right, let's go ahead and take this table down, take the antenna out there. I'm not going to show you taking that one down. Take that down, roll it up, put it back in my car where it goes. I always carry that antenna with me, that 29-foot vertical, just in case I go somewhere and I need it. I like to have it. So, and I'll get this one up in the air, and hopefully I'll record some of that, and then I'll do another video to show you how it works. Remember, the Breeze Shooters contest is from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, there's never much on at night anyway, on 10 meters. The band usually dies, so I guess maybe that's why they picked that time of the day. The contest, again, is only states touching Pennsylvania, and I'm trying to work all zones or all counties, or they have a whole map, and the map's kind of hard to see. And there's no logging program for it. You got a paper log. I might remedy that and write my own program, but probably not before this year's contest. But I bet you before next year, I may have something worked out that all the Breeze Shooters contesters can use to make this a lot more easier, to log your contacts. All right, guys, the next time we see me, we should be outside and we should be erecting this antenna. All right, let's go.